Hello everyone. Today with me, I have a very special guest. She's a high ticket business coach. She's founder of Consistent Client. But more than that, she's a person whom I respect a lot, who motivates me a lot, and from whom I have learned a lot. Without any further ado, I'm welcoming Aditi on the show. Hi, Aditi. How are you?
I'm doing good, Chiranjeevi. Hope you're doing well as well. And first of all, thanks for having me on your show. I'm excited for our conversation to see what unfolds. And I always love having conversations with, women specifically in this industry because there are very few of them. So I'm looking forward to see what all things we cover today.
I'm excited too, and it's always nice to speak with like-minded people. So yeah, you're really amazing. Whenever I talk with you, I get so many amazing golden nuggets, and I'm like, okay, I want to do what she's doing. Like, I want to be like her. You know that you motivate me. You have that drive, and that really inspires me. I can define you in lot of words. I want you to define yourself. Like, who is Aditi in your in your opinion? Who is Aditi Jain?
That's such a difficult question. But who is Aditi Jain? I think she has really changed over multiple years of time because I don't think I really resonate with the personality I was maybe a year ago also. I have changed so much and I feel the change is inevitable. So now if I talk about who am I, so a year ago I used to still think a lot about what other people would think of me. Am I being too ambitious, or is this even possible, the things that I actually think about? But now I feel like, I am much more better version of what I was a year ago. I really don't care what people think about me, what they say about me. I love how ambitious I'm not having any self doubts anymore, that I know that if I have this goal, maybe it can take a year, 2 years, or 10 years, I don't know, but yes, I will be able to achieve it no matter what happens. And the best part about who am I today, even like without the business, without the quality, without, let's say, all the external factors aside, I would say that I also get inspired from a lot of women like Priyanka Chopra and everyone. And when I see through their journey, I feel like just be yourself. And that's my motto. And that's what I try to be every time. And I try to be on this podcast as well. Be very honest, authentic, share my opinions on what I like, I don't. But yeah, I would say that I am what you see me on face, and it's not like my camera ke liye I do something different. I am a different person off camera. So that's about me.
That's really great. That's actually what authenticity means. And at the end of the day, when you are a brand, when you are a person whom people take inspiration from, you should not be either way a person who is just pretending to be someone. So that's really amazing. Uh, I would just like to know, like, when you speak about, I actually wanted to talk about this, but since we are discussing, you say that you take inspiration from women like Priyanka Chopra. I think you might also, Michelle Obama. I personally like her quite a lot. So, how is it different being a woman in this field compared to a man? Like, have you faced any difficulties? Have you faced any adversities that a man might not face, but since just because you're a woman, you had to go through them?
It's very different being a woman in this industry, being a man, specifically at my age, because there are so many things that now comes along my personal life as well. Not just, मतलब सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि I'm just like working a business. I have my family. I have certain responsibilities. I also have to make sure that I'm listening to them. Otherwise, they would get upset. And there's so many things that come along, but when I see the same people, men of my age who are doing business, like they wouldn't give a fuck about anything in the world, and they would still be like the best, like like the best putra or the best tayar and stuff like that. So I go through all these challenges on a day-to-day basis. So when someday, I mean, very, very specific common things that I feel, that people actually think that it's very common, but it's very big for me that, let's say that one day, a relative came to my place and I was working from home. And now I have a co-working space, so I go there daily. But that day I was not well, so I was working from home. And he was like, my brother served him water and I was not able to come downstairs to meet him. I came like 30 minutes late or so. So my brother off, and I had a meeting to run to again in the next 10 minutes. So I came for like 10 minutes and my brother had to. So I told my brother, go make some tea for our guests and I will just talk to them meanwhile. So they're like, no, no, how can a guy make it? You make it. You are also here, nonsense stuff like that. So I go through these challenges on a daily basis and it's very irritating. So that's why it's being very difficult. We often feel that women are given the equality, but honestly, it's not. They are still cooking, they're still taking care of the family. This is an added responsibility now. They have to earn because you cannot survive if you want to build a family. Or if I want to build a family, we cannot just survive on one person's income because of the money, economy, everything. So now this is an added thing that happens to most of the people, most of the women that I speak to, specifically between the ages of, 20 to 30, who are not married and who are like building their career.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge for a lot of people, a lot of women, and that is how it's different. I mean, yes, we are given the equal opportunities right now, but what about the society who wouldn't want this to become an equal opportunity? What happens after then? And not only that, like I go to events. So I have my business partner who's a guy, Ayush, right? I go to business events and like there would be people around us who would be very comfortable, shaking a hand with me, but they would not do the same with me. Shaking a hand with Ayush, sorry, not with me, but they're on house with me. So I've seen these differences even in personal growth events, even in events. There was a guy that we associated for like Facebook ads last year, and I would name people, but he had to talk about some money related stuff and our relationship, how it's going to look forward. And he clearly knows that me and Ayush are business partners. But then, we were on a Zoom call and it was like, Aditi, can you leave? I have to talk to Ayush. So I thought that maybe it's some personal stuff, some guy stuff that he would like to discuss it with Ayush. But then later I got to know he wanted to discuss about some money matters. And he would only want to discuss it with Ayush. And I called him out on that specific part. So I get these challenges even with my clients. Like when I say them something, they would still go back to Ayush and they would like reconfirm it. And I'm like, मैं भी तो वही बोल रही हूँ, वो भी वही बोल रहा है. What's the difference?
Right.
So, these things happen to me on a daily basis, and I feel that people still don't see us as an authority. Like, even if you see in a business coaching space, how many do you actually see doing this at scale in the business coaching world? Like,
Have a lot.
I don't even know anyone. Not even a lot. Like who? Kaun hai batao? Like not in India. Out of India, yes, there are. There is a Lord Marley Jackson. There's so many people out there. There is Amy Porterfield. But what about Indian? There is nobody who's specifically in the business. Like there must be women in motivational thing, women in life coaching and health, wellness. But what about like the business world? So I feel still people want to hear from a man, want to get learn from a man. Like I was at a mastermind and you wouldn't believe um uh, the entire room of the mastermind, they had everyone was doing 20, 30, 40, 50 lakhs a month, like those kind of revenue businesses, they were there. And then we were having this discussion, this exact same discussion. And then one person came to me and said that because this is this X person's mastermind, I am here. But Aditi, if it was yours or if it would have been led by a woman, I don't think that I would have been here because I'm too egoistic to learn from a woman.
Oh, okay.
And I heard that and I was like, and she had a wife who's he had a wife, has a wife who's a wellness coach and everything and doing well in her industry. But you see, that's how people think. So patriarchy rules. Like there is no such thing as equality still now. We are still supposed to clean by people's sons. I mean, we are still supposed to clean by our family. You're still supposed to cook for them. Everything has to be done for them. But these expectations are not from men. It's only from women. So it's completely different being a woman and a man as an entrepreneur, because this is just an add-on. Like this is something that we are doing because we are not getting recognized at the level that we were doing stuff. That's why women are like, they need to do something more to be able to get recognition, and that's why they are doing this right now. But it's very very different. We can never ever ever compare it, how easy it is for you or how easy it is for you.
Right. And it's also like if you are doing business, but then also you should learn household things because you are a woman. You need to balance. You can't be just too ambitious. You also need to be nurturing, taking care of your family because that's the primary goal you are supposed to follow. Like in my case, yeah.
It's
Sorry.
not galat, like it's not wrong, but just having certain expectations is wrong. I mean, since a guy can be allowed whatever you want to do, you do.
Right.
Just want the same stuff. Maybe someone can become a homemaker. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's completely right.
Right.
She should be given an option. Just don't have to be an homemaker. You can do anything or you can do everything and you cannot be an homemaker. And you cannot then make a judgment, oh, she's not having kids, she's not getting married, all that.
Right. Yeah. The judgment is like,
Yeah.
yeah. In my case, my father, I'm earning right now. I'm doing everything, and I love my father the most. But still, what happens is he tells me, you should also learn cooking, and it's as much as fine. Learning cooking is. I understand cooking is a survival skill, and everyone should know how to cook, at least basics of it. But what he says is that you should learn cooking so that in future it will help you, not for me but for my husband. And I'm like, what? If he wants to eat, he can eat. Like he can cook and eat. Why should is it expected from me that I have to cook and then have to serve him? Like that just is bizarre. And I'm earning. I would say, you, me, we are kind of privileged women, and still we are facing these kind of adversities. There are women, who are not even given equal opportunities. Equality is something that is not even discussed. It's like it's common for a woman to just do all these things or just given a responsibility. So I sometimes think that how different and difficult it would be for them because for us women of privilege, it is it is so different and so weird. So yeah.
I agree with you. And I have a lot of sisters, cousin sisters, who are married at the age of 22, 23, 4. Like that's the age. And I see them and they always, like asking me, is there something that we can get some money? Is there an earning opportunity that you can get us? And I feel so bad for them. And, they have to constantly chase their husbands to get some money.
Right.
That's why everyone, not just a woman or a man, like everyone should be financially independent so that you don't have to rely on someone else for your basic needs. What if the husband goes tomorrow? Like that doesn't happen, but what do you do then? What do you do when you have no one else to support you?
It's true. It's true. Yeah. This is a topic I keep on.
Conversation.
Yeah, it's an endless, and it is like sometimes you feel a ray of hope, and then sometimes you feel hopeless and helpless, but then you can't do. All you think is, मतलब दिमाग में एक ही चीज आता है, बहुत पैसा कमाओ. That is the only answer. That is the only answer I come up with whenever I feel hopeless and all, and I'm like, let's just earn a lot of money. And when you earn money, people are like, okay, let's follow her. Let's follow what she's doing. So at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to money. Yeah, but yeah. Okay, me. We are very excited. What's happening? What's the preparation going on? What exactly is IME and how is it how's the preparation?
Preparation is going on full swing. We are, hosting a private mastermind so we have hosted masterminds before. This is something that we are doing in a private villa. So it will be much more, like it will not be sort of an event where, the host is the guru and the hero and nothing like that. but it will be a very private event where literally, like we are just working together with entrepreneurs to help them scale up, to show them the next big opportunity, to tell them how exactly this is going to work for them. So it's going to be a very intimate event, very like private, intimate, and I don't think anybody does these kind of things in.
Not her in India at least.
Yeah, so we were really excited about it, and we are the preparation is going on full swing.
That's weird. It's happening in Delhi, right?
Yes, in Delhi.
Okay. And now let me ask you a little weird question. Like in this economy, and when people are not ready to spend a lot of amount and a lot of money in the scarcity environment, what made you plan this event?
See, people are always ready to spend as long as they are able to see what they are getting. I mean, you see people are getting iPhones. Abhi 16 Pro aaya hai. There are so many people who are placing order for an iPhone 16 Pro, and they are spending money. So, and if you also go on Apple and see their highest, like which country buys iPhone the most, India is close to, either first or second. I don't remember the stats, but it's in the top five. And iPhone is a 78, like minimum $1,000 you have to invest if you have to get an iPhone, right? And we're not asking people to invest $1,000. And these strategies will not make you to help you to make $1,000 once, but maybe let's say even if you get a skill to make a minimum of $1,000 every single month for the rest of your life, is it a bad investment?
No. Yeah.
So people, marketers and coaches and everyone think that people, oh, recession aa gaya, people are not investing money. It's about your capability to make people believe that whatever they are investing in, there is a worth of value. I mean, how is Apple doing it? I've seen 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds convincing their parents to get an Apple iPhone. So 16-year-old can convince their parents to do it. And then why are you not able to convince your prospects that can be a life-changing thing for them? Like a kid can convince their parents. So I don't think there is no such thing as recession yet. We are in a very good state. From other countries, we are very comfortable living in India over here. But I feel that it's more about your skills and what are the kind of results that you provide. So people, who have like, oh, recession आ गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. I feel that there is अभी तो हम कहाँ अभी तो internet चालू हुआ है. Like it's just begun. The internet rage, the internet course creation thing is going to last for the next 20, 30 years at least. And then if you say recession आ गया, ये आ गया, वो हो गया, then you can be like that. People who say this, I feel that they're not either good salespeople. They're not seen enough yet in the market to be able to understand this concept.
Yeah, makes sense. Uh, do you think I understand what you're saying with respect to recession, but do you think there is an economic slowdown right now that has happened? Because in the industry I'm seeing, if we talk in general, there are layoffs and all those things, but that's not my expertise. The online industry that we are working in, right now, a lot of people are either not getting clients, or maybe coaches are not getting clients, or the service providers, they are like, they don't have proper leads in their system right now. And everyone kind of, I'm seeing, is suffering in some or other way. So you think there is an economic slowdown, or is there anything that has impacted the industry?
I feel trust has impacted the industry, not an economic perspective. It's more of a trend perspective. Because when all these service providers and really, let's say 2018, 2019 was the wave that hit India, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
service providers and they all started in the online world. But the main problem with all these things was that people gave crazy promises to people. But like you are going to make so much money, laptop lifestyle, this, that, all of these promises were
Lamborghinis and all.
Lamborghinis and Ferraris and whatnot. So all these promises were made, and because of that, you can call it as a trust recession. You cannot call it as an economic recession because there is a lot of money. I mean, the top 10 people, जो world के सबसे richest है, उसमें दो तो Indians ही है ना. So two people are Indians only. So there's a lot of money in India and they're making it from India. They're not making it from somewhere else, right? Their main chunk is coming from India, right? So Indians have money to spend, but trust is something that is getting loosed by marketers, on service providers, on coaches day by day because of the kind of promises that you generally make. It's all about that. It's not about that people don't have the money so they can't invest. I speak to around 6 to 7 coaches on a daily basis on a one-on-one sales call, and 30-40% of the people say the same thing, that they've invested a lot in the past, they did not see any sort of results. But then, again, it works two ways. You cannot just talk about the coaches and blame them and tell them, your strategies don't work. It also works two ways at how much someone has implemented it. And why does this lack of implementation happen? I'll tell you, because they're sold to a dream that you make a lot of money by working 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day they work and then they're not making a lot of money. So the confidence is not, like, motivation drops. And then you come at a point where, like, I tried it all, but it didn't work.
Right.
But you really didn't try it all. You didn't give it all, because if you had, it would have worked for you.
In some or other way. I recently came across Alex Hormoz's, I guess it was a tweet or some kind of post he did in his community where he said that, you should work 12 hours and all, and that's when you will be able to achieve this and that. He was giving a very nice idea. Someone said that, oh, this is only possible in USA, it's only possible in America that you're saying all these things. You don't know the things of the third world country and all. And then he commented very nicely. He said that, oh yeah, you're right. Maybe I don't know, but I don't think that working 12 hours a day is still going to hamper you in any way, or it's going to change your life. But yeah, you're already right. So I was like, yeah, like people are so weird. They think that, okay, these things only happen outside. In India, it's not going to work, or maybe in third world countries, it's not going to work. And
Why
then
it's not going to work? Humans are same everywhere. I mean, I sold my same priced offer to people outside of India and India both. So people, see, लोगों को बहाना चाहिए होता है. I've seen people जो constantly, they're so comfortable in their situation, in their I would say in their circumstances, in their terrible circumstances, that to change out of that terrible circumstance becomes so difficult for them. Like, I've seen people who would complain, constantly, who would consistently, talk about, oh, mera ye problem hai, this is the problem, and all of this is happening, but they would not lift a finger to make a change around it. So even if you are getting overweight every single day, but you would not at least walk 1,000 steps daily to do something about it, and then you constantly complain about it, then whose fault it is?
yeah, you think they are very comfortable in their misery, I would say, or they're very comfortable, and the fear of getting out of it, or maybe the fear of success is actually like everyone wants to get successful, but still they are afraid to get successful in some or other way. And the misery they are in, the problems they are in becomes their comfort zone. You think that's the reason that actually makes them lack execution?
Yeah, one of them is that they're very comfortable in their misery, that lacks the execution. Second is, a lot of people also have self doubts that, Aditi, you did it, but I don't know, will I be able to pull it off? Because of that, also, they become comfortable in their own misery. They keep complaining about it, but they won't do anything about it. It's like, um, my padosi. So there is a guy who would always, throw garbage here and there. And the padosi would keep complaining about it, but he would not do anything about it. He would not have the guts to go to the guy and talk to him and, look, stop littering over here. So it happens like that. And third thing is, they set very unrealistic goals. They said that, oh, I want to become a millionaire by, I want to make 10-20 lakhs a month and all that stuff. It's all crap. When I talk to these people, they're making literally zero income, and then they ask me such a weird question, and I'm just like, how can you even imagine like that? They ask me that, I want to make, Aditi, 10 lakhs a month in the next 3 months. Can you help me out? I'm like, you're not making any income right now. How do you think you'll be able to make 10 lakhs a month in the next 3 months? How is that even possible? It's not possible because it's not about strategies. It's about mindset, consistency, execution, feedback, business as a whole. It's a whole MBA that you are doing, you know? So a lot of people have unrealistic expectations, and when they so I have had literally clients 20 दिन उन्होंने काम किया full जोश में, they are working. After 20 days they're like, Aditi, I did not get a client yet. I'm like, 20 दिन में आप कॉलेज गए, आपको जॉब मिली क्या? You did not get a job, so how can you get a client in 20 days? So people come with such unrealistic expectations, and I feel these are the three primary reasons why they're not, putting in the work to make a change.
Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
and fourth thing I feel is that सेल्फ लव ही नहीं है. मतलब आई डोंट फील पीपल लव themselves enough to be in a comfortable environment, to give themselves a sense of happiness, accomplishment, fulfillment. Because if they would be, then they would be willing to do whatever it takes. They would be willing to even work 24 hours, no matter what their circumstances. I never believed that you have a better circumstance, that's why you're making money.
Yeah.
Everyone has different circumstances, and because of those different things you're still able to make an income. That is the quality of life.
Right. It's also like people, when I see, honestly, and that's the thing I would also admit to, maybe because I had a very naive perspective of this field. When we entered this field, we were like, we want to earn money. That's what the reason was that we entered this field. That because that were the dreams that were shown, that do SEO, do blogging, and you will like see I have a crorepati, I have a car, I have a bungalow and all. So it was like, okay, then if that's what if that is if this field promises that, then why not? Slowly, when we entered this field and we started learning and all those things, and we realized, okay, this is much more than that. Now, honestly, when I'm here, I might not be earning crores right now, but what gives me the most happiness is that when I see results for my clients with respect to, I actually enjoy doing what I do. I actually like when I specifically set up ads, Facebook ads and all. So, researching the market trends, research what's working for people and all, and then doing it for my clients, that actually gives me happiness when they are able to get results, they are able to earn because of me. I somehow feel that this awareness should be brought in the industry as you're doing it. Like, you're talking about the blunt truth of the industry, not just, like happy stuff. I really like that thing about you. So I think people should actually start speaking about it. It's the same as any other industry. If you work and if you work hard, that's only when you're going to get results. It's not going to be like work 2 hours, 3 hours on a beach with laptop. That's not how it's going to happen. So yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Matlab, I see that if I'm working 6 days a week, out of that 4 days are always like blur.
yeah,
Are nice. Yeah, the 4 days are always, like, yeah, we are passing by, and I feel that's how life works, right? You cannot have like every day as a really happy day. I know you live with a positive mindset, optimistic, but your life will approach challenges, and we have to accept it.
exactly. And when we speak about trust recession, personally, like I have seen like this specific trend from mid of 2023 that a lot of people slowly started backing down. I guess that's because that's the reason the small ticket products are again introduced in the industry, build community like school community and all, because people are not ready to invest a lot of amount because of the trust recession that is happening. Have you personally seen it affecting your business, and what are the things that if yes, what are the things you did to get out of it?
As a service provider, as a business owner, I would always keep my, like, see that how can I get the best things delivered to my clients in a short span of time. And see, trust recession is always going to be there, and it is there in every industry. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ coaching में है, और it's there in clothing, it's there in e-commerce, it's there in food, it's there in all the industries, right? It's there in even industries like Ola, Uber, marketplaces like that.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. And trust recession comes from the kind of quality expectation setting that people make versus what they have been delivered versus the execution that the person does in the service provider case. So all these three factors come together to build something like, because trust recession is happening. Now if I give you like a 5,000 rupees course and tell you that this course has the potential of making you a millionaire, I'm not saying that a millionaire in the next 90 days. Yeah, it may be right. I'm not saying I'm lying to you. It may be right. But it also depends on you that how much, जोश से आप काम कर रहे हो. Like वो बोलते हैं ना कि productive work and smart work, if you do smart work, your work can also be done in 2 hours. And if you are like doing distracted work, आप 12 घंटे काम करोगे तो भी आपका काम नहीं होगा. Correct? So in this kind of scenario, even people execution ऐसे ही होता है कि आप अगर 2 घंटा बैठकर you're executing it properly, you will be able to get some results. But if you're not executing it at all, then you're not going to get any sort of good results.
Makes sense. Yeah. I
So,
think, yeah, sorry.
that like trust recession is always going to be there because of the kind of expectations people set versus the kind of expectations that the clients get. Like if you promise them you will make this much money in this much time, well, it doesn't work like that, right? So you cannot make such kind of promises. And I used to do that, and I got bad quality clients. So I eventually changed the way I was marketing, changed the way I was doing everything. Now, if you see, I focus more on how many quality booked appointments. I don't even check my revenue numbers. I used to do that a lot when I started out. But now, like I don't believe in that. I don't believe that, you should be sharing revenue numbers and you should be making a revenue just because you have made certain revenue. Like I have stopped using my income as my marketing message, and I don't feel that anyone should do it. Um, a lot of people do it still, but I'm like really tired of hearing it. How much people are making online, and I can help you to make the same. And I've parted that ways because sharing income figures, used to be a source of inspiration, a way to show what's possible, for other people. But now it feels like it's become the only people that is making the person to buy from me. Like the only reason why people are buying from me is because I made money. I don't want to do that. I want people to buy from me for my values, for my systems, for my quality of work, for the kind of leadership that I hold. And when success is just about numbers, it's not really success. So, because the income cannot tell the whole story, right? It doesn't reveal the strategies, the value you're offering, the kind of work that you're putting in the back end of your business. And building a thriving business goes beyond than how much money that you've made.
Right.
So that's why again, trust recession. So it comes because people are using income, using their lifestyle as a marketing message. And I think that should be stopped. Instead, you use your strategies as a marketing message. You solve people challenges as a marketing message. And that will eventually, over a period of time, decrease it.
Right. I think you should actually get that printed on a t-shirt that my income is not my marketing message, because that's such a nice line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that it's people, as you said very correctly, it's not about, people should understand this now. It's very high time that go to a coach to learn the ability that they have rather than the income that they are doing. Because I mean, come on, that's really yeah.
Exactly. I mean, even as a business coach, everyone's not at a constant same income and that they're sharing with you. And the revenue to bas bakwas hai. Revenue is just a number. Like you don't know about the cash collected. People will say we have collected this much revenue in our pipeline. अरे मेरे पास भी 10,000 की email list है. I have करना होता है. That is how much you have collected in the bank makes sense. So people literally market on the ways that we have millions of dollars in pipeline and 20 lakhs cash collect, 20 lakhs in pipeline and this much deposits. And I know like a big guy, a big guy in this industry who literally just used deposits as as you know, the revenue numbers. So they had maybe a deposit of 20K per person, and the total investment was maybe 1 lakh or two. I don't remember the total investment. Maybe it was 1.5 lakh. So since they collected more than 100 deposits of 20K, they said that, they've made so many crores in like just 3 hours. So there was not using the 20K. They were per person, the revenue was 1.5 lakh. So they were actually calculating that thing as a whole, revenue, and we made this much money in 3 hours. It's all crap, really. Like those were just deposits.
That brings us to the next question is that you said that you're now marketing different, you are doing things differently. That brings us to the next question. I see you talking about reverse attraction marketing a lot. You said that you're doing marketing differently now. You are promoting your like what you do, the systems, the overall business, overall thing rather than just income. So, what exactly is reverse attraction marketing in a brief, if you would like to summarize?
So reverse attraction marketing is, we have a system that involves ads plus organic, using which you can, right now we are generating approximately 50 leads per day, all inbound. So we don't have to really rely upon, let's say even organic stops working, or I'm not saying organic stops working because that will never happen, but it is a lot dependent on content and algorithm.
Right,
So
exactly.
let's say that, if I haven't posted anything like much, much major in the last 1.5 week, but I'm still generating 50 leads a week. So that's reverse attraction marketing, where you don't have to solely depend on content to get leads, but you can have better ways to be able to do that. And that is without doing an email list, no webinars, no technical stuff, no workshops. I have done more than 25-day challenges. And literally, there was a point where we were making really good ROAS, like 5x, 7x. When we started off, it was 12x, but over a period of time, it decreased. So, up to 5x ROAS we were making. And I was like, I'm tired. I can't do 5-day challenges every single month because, see, as a woman, you have these menstrual cycles.
Yeah.
So you cannot really, you have to plan your entire month out menstrual cycles. So you cannot really work round the clock every single month and be as energetic. And those 5-day challenges, I was the bottleneck. Like I had to be there in the process. So I wanted to create a system where I am not there in the process. And that's when we discovered reverse attraction marketing, and we started with that.
That's awesome. And is it okay? Before that, okay, and this might be a controversial question, but I want to talk about this. In the industry right now, I'm seeing a lot of people are talking about reverse this, reverse that. A lot of ads, everything is now reverse. So I just want to know, like, what is this trend, and how is reverse attraction marketing different, or is it just the same, or like everyone else?
No, it's not, because we don't do any sort of webinars, funnels, launches, workshops, nothing like that. We do a simple funnel, that is, we run an ad on Instagram. We bring them to your Instagram profile. They get nurtured using your Instagram content, and we have like a very we call it 5 milestone framework, through which we qualify those people into booking a call with us. The setter sends in the link, they book a one-on-one sales call, and then they jump on a call with me like this. So in this way, why reverse? Because attraction marketing is something that, people have been doing for years now. They're posting content, they're doing all this. But now we are doing reverse attraction marketing, wherein people are directly coming to us for our offers. They're not coming to us because they want some lead magnets. Or yeah, lead magnets is one of the ways you can get people, but they're directly coming because they have a problem that can be solved by us.
Right. Awesome. And is reverse attraction marketing is something that you're going to talk about in IME as well?
Yeah, in fact, we are going to be sharing our entire funnel, breaking down our ads, our most successful ads. I will also help couple of people shoot some ads and everything live as well.
Oh, that's cool.
It's going to be like very fun.
That's really I'm quite excited. I wish I would have able to attend. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So what happened? No, oops. So sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I wish I would have been able to attend. Like we just had a vacation. Otherwise, I would have come to attend. I would have loved meeting you guys again. Last, I guess we met in Sahil's event. I guess that was the last time.
Last year.
So yeah, but yeah, I'm quite excited, and I'm very sure that whoever is going to attend IMH are going to get a lot of value and immense golden nuggets. So yeah, thank you so much, Aditi, for coming on this show and giving us your precious time. It was really amazing talking with you, and I'm looking forward to more such conversations.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the show.
Yep.
Awesome.